tuned into Quick Charge, the high voltage podcast bringing you the top stories in electric vehicles and sustainable energy daily. And it's all powered by electric. Welcome to Quick Charge. It's September 5th, 2024, and I'm your host, Joe Boris. We're going to start today with some Tesla news, but it's not necessarily news about Tesla. It's news from Fred Lambert. Fred has sold all of his Tesla shares. Reading from his article today, I fully divested from Tesla, selling all my shares. I'm going to try to explain why. At Electrek, we like to be clear about our biases rather than claim we have none. Now, this is a very well-written, very emotional, and I think very sincere piece of literature. So I think you guys definitely need to go back to the website. There's a link in my source notes and go check it out. I think this is hugely important, especially because of the huge role that Fred played in the early part of Tesla's success. Reading a selection from his much longer, much more heartfelt piece, in the last few years, Tesla has become a widely different company. My main issue with this shift is that I no longer feel like the original mission to accelerate the advent of sustainable transport or renewable energy is a priority. Now it's all about AI, self-driving, and robots. I'm not saying that those things are wrong or that they will not happen. I think all these technologies are important and will transform the world, but it's simply not what I invested in. I would also argue that Tesla is not the same company, which makes sense since the company is no longer about its mission. That is my main issue. It can't be more evident than Tesla's EV deliveries tracking down year over year for the first time in a decade. Musk canceling EV programs in favor of robotaxi, and even the CEO going as far as saying that, quote, Tesla is worth nothing without self-driving. My other issue is the leadership. I don't trust Elon anymore. I think a combination of social media addiction and the cult of personality around him has broken his feedback loop and set him on the wrong path. Now, Fred and I disagree on a lot of things. We agree on a lot of things too. And I think that this is a pretty solid middle ground where I think a lot of reasonable people and also reasonable investors are looking at Tesla and wondering if this is the same company that was able to go from basically zero to hero to become the most valuable automotive company in the world many times over. Is that company still going to be there 10 years from now? Does it still have the ingredients necessary to keep itself at the top? Remains to be seen. Now, as far as personal biases and putting them out there, my Twitter handle has been Volvo Joe for years. So I think that ship has freaking sailed. Not only has that ship sailed, I'm actively trying to convert others, including Seth. Seth, obviously the head honcho here at Electrek. He was flown out to Newport Beach, California to test the new EX90 7-seat all-wheel drive SUV. Seth writes, for many people, including my family, this is the holy grail of EVs. It is part electric luxury sports sedan, part four-wheel drive off-roader and trailer hauler, and most importantly, part minivan. There's also a Volvo for Life tagline underneath, proudly displaying Volvo's commitment to safety. Is it a little much? Perhaps. Volvo, more than any other car maker, is proud of its safety features and seems to want to show them off rather than hide them. See also yellow 3-point seatbelts and other models, which the company invented and shared freely with the rest of the industry. They've saved countless lives, and Volvo expects its LiDAR system to do the same. I know people like LiDAR, it doesn't really matter. This is interesting because Volvo has actually done this several times. And I mean sharing its patent. The 3-point safety harness is just one example. Collapsible steering columns, collapsible steering wheels, and also the Lambda O2 sensor that is at the core of emissions controls were all Volvo designed and developed technologies that were shared with the rest of the industry for the betterment of humanity and the automotive community as a whole. And now Volvo is also leaning into bidirectional charging. While this will go under the LiDAR for some, LOL, Volvo really amped up the vehicle's ability to power homes. Rather than the 2 kilowatts many vehicles have, the Volvo can put out up to 20 kilowatts of power, meaning homes connected to the Volvo will be able to be heated and cooled electrically. Seth's fast charging experience was lackluster because they were out on a busy Electrify America station, but still got 185 kilowatt output with 30% state of charge. Volvo says we can expect speeds up to and over 250 kilowatts at the right stations, and it takes about 30 minutes to take the battery from 10 to 80% or add about 210 miles. As far as converting Seth into a Volvo, it looks like they're doing my job for me. Volvo's South Carolina EX90 is a big win in my book. Historically, the Rivian R1S and Tesla's Model X have owned the third row EV space. Recent newcomers like the Mercedes EQS, BMW iX, Audi Q8, and on the value end, the Kia EV9 have shaken up the market a bit. But I love the Volvo EX90 because it blends performance, style, luxury, and ride really well. Priced from $80,000 to $90,000 based on trim and before incentives, it's going to be a popular option in this growing space. Seth concludes the article writing, "There's no better test of a vehicle than, do I want one? After reviewing a car, I'm always happy to give it back. In this case, the EX90 is something I'm following up on, and therefore a big win. As a Rivian R1S owner, I often ask myself if I really need a 3-second 0 to 60, crazy off-roading skills, or the last 100 miles of range, which I almost never use. I'd love captain's chairs in the second row, though I'd miss the fold flat. Most of all, I'd love the smoother, quieter ride and the enhanced safety features that the EX90 offers. Like they say, it's all about safety." I absolutely agree with that. Love talking about Volvo, love talking about Volvo safety. And for those of you who follow my other show, the Heavy Equipment Podcast, you know I love talking about tractors. That's why we're so excited to have Volvo CE as an official sponsor of Quick Charge. Volvo CE is one of the world's largest construction equipment manufacturers with more than 14,000 employees serving a truly global market with an innovative range of machinery options manufactured, serviced, and supported around the world. Volvo CE is a globally recognized leader in sustainability as well, offering the industry's most comprehensive lineup of fully electric equipment options from the DD25 electric roller and ECR18 electric mini excavator all the way up to the EC230 electric 30-ton excavator and beyond. Volvo's electric lineup perfectly complements its highly efficient diesel offerings, empowering construction crews to meet both the ever-tightening regulations on noise and emissions and the sustainability goals of the clients they serve while opening new possibilities for indoor and precision demolition construction jobs that diesels simply can't do. Check out volvoce.com to learn more about Volvo's equipment offerings in your market or contact your local equipment dealer for a demonstration. We always love having Volvo guys on the show. We love that they're supporting the work we do. Go check out the work that they're doing at volvoce.com. So while we love having that sponsorship, we love talking about Volvos, they're not the only company making big moves in electrification. Ford's F-150 Lightning has been having an incredible month. Their sales surged 160% in August, and even though gas cars are still dominating Ford's total sales numbers, 14% of all of Ford's sales were EVs last month. That is absolutely huge. And we're talking national numbers here. We're not just talking California. We're not talking New York. We're talking nationally, 14% of Ford sales were EVs. The American automaker sold 182,985 vehicles in the U.S. last month, showing 13.4% growth from last year. Ford's electric vehicles rose even higher, 28.9% to 8,944 units. The F-150 Lightning accounted for most of that growth, with 2,858 units sold, up 160.7% year over year. F-150 Lightning sales reached 21,000 through the first 8 months of 2024, up 86% from the 11,000 sold this time last year. The Mustang Mach-E saw modest sales growth with 5,300 units sold in August, up 6% year over year. Ford has sold more than 32,000 Mach-E's through August, and that number is just going to continue to grow with their 0% financing deal. I'll put a link to that in the comments as well. Despite slowing growth, Ford's Mach-E is still edging out the Ioniq 5 in the US, but that's artificially deflated because of the redesigned Ioniq 5 that just came out. I expect those numbers to reverse in a couple of months. Now, while we're on the topic of Ford and the F-150 Lightning and the new e-Transit that just started being delivered to customers earlier this week, we have to talk about Ford Pro. Ford Pro is a software solution for fleet managers and fleet operators that makes it easier for them to not only monitor their fleet, their state of charge, their effective range, but also where the vehicles are operating and a whole lot more. To talk more about it, we've got Ford's Mark Pohl. Mark, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, Joe. It's good to be with you today.
You know, as I was talking about in the lead-in, Ford Pro, or rather Ford itself, rolled out the updated version of the e-Transit to customers beginning yesterday. So, you know, now we've got longer range, we've got faster charging, we've got onboard power. So this is all good stuff. How does that vehicle, with all of its new updates and the Ford Lightning, how does that work with Ford Pro fleet management software to kind of deliver that optimal experience to fleets?
Yes, Joe. So that's a really exciting product. We heard loud and clear from our customers that there was more they wanted to do with their e-transits. And so bringing that low roof version of the van up to an estimated range of 159 miles, it just opens up a lot more use cases that our customers can deploy that van. So we offer charging solutions to help our customers through their electrification journey and other support as well. And so we offer depot charging and home charging solutions. Customers can charge where they need to with their vehicles. And we see a wide variety of deployments across different industries. Some customers take their vehicles, they have their drivers take their vehicles at home at night, need to charge there. There are new challenges that fleets need to solve that aren't there on the combustion engine vehicles in their fleet. Other fleets, we look at use cases like delivery, they're likely to park the vehicles at one of their facilities overnight. And so the charging needs are different there.
I'm glad you brought that up because I don't want to sidetrack this or move us in another direction. But when you're operating a large fleet and you do have some guys that take the vehicle home, it presents a different challenge than the conventional fleet solution, which has always been like a fuel man card that operators can go and just swipe at the gas station. This is a little bit different. So how does Ford Pro, I guess, reimburse drivers who are charging at home or who end up charging on the road?
So our home charging solution, this is a new software product that we just launched this summer in the UK, the US, and Canada. And it helps fleets through this challenge of how do they reimburse drivers for electricity, just like you mentioned. There isn't anything directly comparable with combustion engine vehicles. There's no refueling at the driver's home. But with EVs, to have that convenience of having a full tank, quote unquote, full charge ready to go every morning at the start of their shift, fleets are installing chargers at the drivers' homes and then need to reimburse them for that portion of the driver's electricity bill that is the fleet's responsibility. So our software talks to the chargers. We have hardware solutions with cellular modems built right in, automatically connect to our cloud as soon as they're powered up. And we look at the real-time electricity consumption. There's a different price at different times of the day. We can capture those differences and assign the appropriate cost depending on whether they're charging at peak hours or off-peak hours throughout the month and enable the fleet to reimburse their drivers fairly and appropriately.
Well, that's cool. So, but there's like a kind of a flip side to that, right? Because not only are you then encouraging drivers to charge when it's less expensive, so it's less expensive for the fleet, but it's also easier on the grid. So there's a grid resilience component in this as well, where you're not just kind of plugging into the outlet and hoping for the best.
Absolutely. So our software also allows fleets to schedule charging. They can look up a utility plan. They can search the driver's location, find the utility, find the specific rate that they're on. It's becoming increasingly common for utilities to price electricity, different prices at different times of the day to help manage that demand in the grid. So it might be, for example, 4 to 9 p.m., where you pay a higher rate than charging overnight. So our software allows fleets to shift their charging according to specific utility plan and then capture the price that they're paying at that actual time of charging as well. So it really helps respond to the utility's needs. And then our customers, they can still charge if they need to at a specific time to get the job done as well. So that's important. Number one priority with Ford Pro and how we serve our customers across our whole business is ensuring our customers' vehicles can be on the road and ready to perform work as often as possible. So that's key for charging as well.
Well, you said something really interesting there. You said we want to make sure our customers' vehicles are essentially being served, right? So that raised an interesting point. Obviously, you're wearing the Ford shirt, you're here from Ford. However, in a mixed fleet where somebody's got a Silverado or somebody's got a Rivian or any other electric vehicles, right? Even medium or heavy duty electric vehicle offerings. Is this something that can support their vehicle use as well? Or do you have to have a Ford product to be able to take advantage of some of the features that Ford Pro has?
That's a great question. And the answer is unequivocally, we can support different types of equipment, any EV on the road with the charging solutions. There's a lot of standards in the industry that ensure different chargers and different vehicles can be compatible with each other. That's true with the software as well. So the way our vehicles talk to the charger, there's standards that support that. Similarly, our chargers communicating with Ford Pro Charging software cloud, there's standards that define that as well, that allows working with multiple different types of chargers, different vehicles, and ensuring that there's wide compatibility. And actually, one of our first customers of the Ford Pro home charging software is actually charging non-Ford vehicles with that solution. So we are supporting them with a manufacturer agnostic solution that works across many different types of vehicles and equipment.
I was recently in a meeting with the Municipal Fleet Manager Association here in Illinois, and Ford was kind enough to sponsor that, and they brought a number of police vehicles, talked about a little bit about electric Explorer, e-transit, things like that. And one of the things they talked about was vehicle telematics and the ability to record a lot of that information of the vehicles through the Ford Pro software. Is that something that we can talk about a little bit?
Yes, so Ford Pro has a set of software solutions that really allows us to take advantage of our unique position as a software provider, but also the automaker. So we have a telematics product that we originally developed with our internal combustion engine vehicles. When we launched the E-Transit and the F-150 Lightning, we invested heavily in expanding the EV-focused features into that platform. So instead of looking at the remaining fuel and gas range, we look at charging and EV specific range. We have capabilities like a live map that shows how far an E-Transit and our F-150 Lightning could drive in real time as sort of a range map, and charging behavior analysis looking at public charging, and also a solution that allows fleet drivers to seamlessly bill public charging across the Blue Oval Charge network, which is the largest charging network offered by an automaker in North America, seamlessly through the touch screen on their vehicle and bill that back to the fleet. So they don't have to worry about a fuel card, swiping a credit card, and they can find chargers and pay for them and bill it back to the fleet with a few taps on the touchscreen in their vehicle, plug in the charger, and be on their way.
Now, one of the big questions that fleet managers have, especially fleet managers that are new to EVs, that are exploring the possibility of EVs, have is a question about battery health, right? They say things like, "Oh, we're not sure how long these things will last." We're going to ignore the fact that Toyota's been putting modern EV batteries in the Prius since 1997, and we have 2+ decades of information about how these vehicles last. But is that something that Ford Pro's telematics can give them an insight into?
That's a great question. So first of all, we have a warranty that really helps provide peace of mind to our customers with 8 years and 100,000 miles, whichever comes first, of EV-specific battery components. So the battery, the motors, and other aspects of the vehicle that are specific to EV, think like the charger on board the vehicle, those have a warranty that goes, well beyond the bumper to bumper warranty on the vehicle. That also provides coverage for battery capacity loss. So in terms of monitoring behavior with the battery health over time, that's something that our team is working on the telematics side, to be able to bring in more direct insights into how the battery is performing over time.
Mark, that's all I've got planned here. I know we're coming to the end of our time commitment. You've got everybody's attention here. You've got the audience. If you could tell them sort of one thing about Ford Pro, something unique about it, what it offers to fleet managers within that industry, what would that be? And let it go.
Well, with the focus on EV, with the set of new products coming out between the E-Transit expanded range and the new Ford Pro home charging software, we have developed and continue investing in complete electrification solutions for our customers. So we want to be here to help our fleet customers across any vocation, any industry size. If the vehicles meet their needs, we have the charging and software solutions that can help those customers through this electrification journey and be successful in bringing EVs into their fleet.
Mark, that was great stuff. Thanks so much for being on the show. Obviously, we love having guests on the show. If there's someone from the industry or from the electrification space that you'd like to hear us talk to, let us know in the comments. We'll do our very best to bring them on the show. Now, we like to end these shows talking about sustainability, talking about renewable energy, talking about utilities and growth and grid. And today is no different. Oxford commercializes its 20% more powerful solar panels in the US. That's the University of Oxford spinoff, Oxford PV. They revealed a world's first commercial sale of its tandem solar panels that produce 20% more energy than standard silicon panels. The 72-cell panels comprised of Oxford PV's proprietary perovskite on silicon solar cells will be used in a utility scale installation by an undisclosed US customer. The panels, which have a groundbreaking 24.5% module efficiency, reduce the levelized cost of electricity and use land more efficiently because they generate more electricity from the same area. Dave Ward, the CEO of Oxford PV, said, "The commercialization of this technology is a breakthrough for the energy industry. With more electricity generation from the same area, perovskite technology is now helping utilities speed up this transition by offering more energy at a lower cost." Oxford EV claims this to be the first commercial deployment of a perovskite tandem solar panel worldwide. As Electrek reported in June, the company achieved a solar panel efficiency world record of 26.9%. That's all we've got for today, September 5th. My buddy Mike Stasko, if you're watching, happy birthday. And hey, like and subscribe if you like what you heard. And if you didn't, I don't know, man. Ford's here, Volvo's here. All the cool kids are here. Maybe you should rethink not liking it.